Hello once again, this is Brother Teacher, and I would like to make something perfectly clear as it relates to a martial arts grandmaster of whom I love and admire. And I've received um, some backlash from people who know him, who are students of his perhaps, and even followers of him, on a video that I did. Not a claim that I made, but a video that I did some several years ago. And this is none other than Grandmaster Victor Moore. His principal system of martial arts is Shuri-Ryu. Now, throughout his career, he's won many championships in sport karate. And he's a world champion. He's a highly ranked master. And I did a video about an incident that took place, not an incident, but a martial arts competition that was held by Ed Parker back in the 60s. I believe it was 1967. And Robert Trias was there along with some of his students in that competition. And Bruce Lee was a guest there. And Bruce Lee made an announcement that there was no one there that could have blocked his punch. So, long story short, Grandmaster Robert Trias picked Grandmaster Victor Moore, who's Grandmaster now, at that time to be the person to test Bruce Lee's speed. Now, on the internet, if you look at the clip, or several clips of that video, you will see Bruce Lee throw a punch at Grandmaster Moore's direction, and Grandmaster Moore, from what I could ascertain and from what most people have proclaimed that they've seen, was that Master Moore missed the punches, that he never blocked one punch. Now, if the video shows you what it is, then that's what it is. You can say, well, there's some other footage somewhere else, or that's just part of the video, or someone cut something out. Doesn't look that way. There is no break in that video that we all watch. But anyway, me being a commentator, me being a YouTube creator, as are many other thousands, I gave my viewpoint of what I saw, and I said that he never blocked Bruce Lee's punch. Now, some people took this personal. If you took it personal, or if they took it personal, that's a personal problem. That's a personal issue. Now, if, for example, you were in an area and you saw a car wreck, what you see is what you see. You cannot cover it up and say you saw something different if it's not what you actually saw. So if there's a video account, if there's a video that proves that you saw what you said you saw, then that's what it is. I mean, when you go to court, they use video evidence all of the time. People on the streets, private video, phone cameras, and the police body cams when it involves the police. They use that as evidence because it's what they see. Unfortunately, when George Floyd was killed by the police officer who was kneeling on him some years ago, you cannot dismiss that as being what you saw. It's what everybody saw. You can't say it was something different than what it was. So the same is true in the video where Bruce Lee threw the punches and Master Moore attempted to block it and even dropped his head in disgust or disgrace that he didn't block the punch. Now here, many years later, he says that he did block the punch. But where is that video of you blocking it? And then he gives an account that he tells us, the internet audience or the YouTube audience, that he asked Bruce Lee if he would let him punch at Bruce Lee and have Bruce Lee punch, not punch but block Master Moore's punches. There's no video of that. He claims that he touched Bruce Lee in the chest a few times. And then he said he went somewhere and sparred with Bruce Lee at the same setting, at the same tournament. There's no video account of that. Now, here recently, I've been seeing videos on the Viking Samurai channel where Grandmaster Moore is being interviewed and he's talking about his exploits and things that he's done over the years with the chimpanzee, for example, teaching them karate and how to make breakfast and things like this, various things. And I saw that as a teenager. I saw some of that on television myself. That's true. That could be substantiated. Now, he speaks of Count Dante, who was touted as being the deadliest man alive back in the 60s, 70s. He said he sparred with him as well. And he goes on with some other instances that he say occurred in his martial arts career. I know he beat Joe Louis and he sparred with Jim Kelly and Mike Stone and those guys back in the day, and Chuck Norris and so forth. Okay, some of this can be corroborated. However, this Bruce Lee speed contest, him blocking that, I disagree with it, and I continue to disagree with it as many others do. Now, people can keep following Master Moore's story about him blocking Bruce Lee's punch, but where is the proof? There's no difference than you asking me, did I win such and such a championship, and you were there and it's on video or you have pictures of it or so forth. But for me to claim that I've won something or done something and there's no physical evidence of it, it just basically is nothing more than guesswork, speculation on some degree, or to some degree, hearsay, some would say as well. So the other thing that really bothers me in these Viking Samurai interviews here recently with Grandmaster Moore is that he puts down Tae-Kwon-Do. And I studied Tong Soo and Tae-Kwon-Do as part of my other arts that I've studied throughout my career and life. And I love the man to death, and I'm going to say this again. So the trolls and all of the Master Moore followers who don't want to accept the truth and who don't want to use critical, or I should say constructive criticism and common sense, you cannot dismiss these other martial arts styles and systems as if what you do is the measuring stick for everything else. And I've seen this happen all too often. So many karateka, they look at Kung Fu, and this happened back in the 50s and the 60s as well, when Kung Fu guys would go to competition, karate guys would call them soft, or soft style, or that was dancing and so forth, which is something similar to what Master Moore said about Bruce Lee being an actor and he was dancing around and so forth, that he was not legit, because he's basing what Bruce Lee was doing on his art of karate. Karate is not the barometer that you judge other arts on, because karate didn't come first. Karate came from China, if you want to tell the truth. And then the African arts migrated across the globe to Asia, and then down to Okinawa, and then Japan. So to say that Chinese martial arts is no good, or to say that Korean martial arts is not real karate, or that they are borrowing this and that. They have their own heritage. I understand back in the 40s that Korea was invaded by Japan, and the Japanese left some of their systems there. But the Koreans had their own systems as well. A lot of what the Koreans do is similar to what we do because of that occupation during the 40s, those earlier years. But Korea does have its own identity, and its arts are Tae-Kwon, Hapkido, Harangdo, Kuksowan, Taekwondo, which has become very popular in the Olympics. They can hold their own, and karate is not superior to Taekwondo or Korean martial arts. It's not superior. None of them are superior. So I don't buy that at all. You can't say this is what I do, and so whatever you do has to be judged by how I do what I do. I don't buy that at all. That's not fair. Because there are some things that the Koreans do that the karateka can learn from, and vice versa. There's something the Chinese do that the Thai boxers can learn from, and the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys can learn from. We're all a martial arts family. It's not about I'm the biggest fish in the pond. It doesn't work like that. Okay, I just wanted to share that. Before I close, I want to get to the crux of the matter and probably reiterate what I said in maybe simple terms. We have to get to a point, I'm speaking respectively of martial arts, we have to get to a point where we get us out the way. And where we have to look at that we are all a world family. And you're not in your own microcosm or in your own bubble or your own box, and no one else exists, and that you're more important. It doesn't work that way. You may want it to be that way, you may want it to work that way, but it's not that way. There are great Japanese artists throughout the martial arts evolvement, if you will, evolution of the world. There are great Korean martial artists. There are great Japanese and Okinawan artists. There are great Brazilian artists. There are great artists from all over the world. Muay Thai as well, and Sambo, Russia, all over. Stop thinking that your stuff don't stink. Excuse me. When you start pointing the finger at other people and start trying to point out all of their so-called faults, you better look no further than yourself. As Michael Jackson said, look at the man in the mirror and see what your flaws are. And what does God say about that? What does the Creator say about that? When you're judging other people, see clearly to take the beam out your own eyes. So it's not about you. It's about us. This is Brother Teacher. That was it. And that was all.